We are also starting current affairs in a new way from today. Okay. So this will be comprehensive. So from this week, we will be covering current affairs in most comprehensive way using both the Hindu and Indian Express. And I am also taking some current affairs which are not covered in Hindu or Indian Express from PIB also, which is a official government publication. Okay, and our current affairs will be balancing both prelims and mains. It is not just for prelims, which is the usual case with many other institutes. We will be covering both prelims and mains in a most comprehensive way, in an enjoying way. It will not be a boring class. Okay, you will be thoroughly enjoying the class. So let us start without wasting any time. And how I am going? I will start from GS1, art and culture. So in the syllabus way. Then we will move on to history. If there are any current affairs, then Indian society, then geography, then polity, then governance, then international relations, economy, environment, as such. Okay. Science and technology. So let us start with the GS1 current affairs. So our first current affair is that 7 natural heritage sites from India added to the UNESCO tentative list of world heritages. So tentative list of world heritage sites. This is the topic, and 7 new sites were added. It was added by whom? By India itself. So first let me explain the background. So if you see, there is an international organization called UNESCO, United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. As the name suggests, it takes care initiatives such as educational initiatives, scientific initiatives and cultural initiatives. It wants to unite the world. It wants to bring peace to the world through educational, scientific and cultural initiatives. And one more thing I want to say is that you don't have to write notes for this. This PPT will be comprehensive. After the class, you can just take the PPT. No need of writing any notes. You please concentrate on the listening. So, as I'm telling you, UNESCO will be taking initiatives of education, scientific and cultural purposes. So, all of these things you keep hearing regularly in your preparation, but you will not find all of this at a single place. So, I have brought all of this at a single place. So, first one is that one scientific initiative is that Man and Biosphere Program, MAB program. So when you are reading environment in GS3, you must have heard about something called Biosphere Reserve. So we have 18 Biosphere Reserves. India has classified some of its regions as Biosphere Reserves. India has 18 Biosphere Reserves. And among these 18, 12 Biosphere Reserves were recognized by the UNESCO under its Man and Biosphere program. So through this program, it tries to conserve nature in a scientific way. So it is a scientific initiative. Then another scientific initiative is the Global Geoparks Initiative. This is also by UNESCO. Currently, there are no geoparks recognized in India by UNESCO under this program. So moving on. Next, cultural initiatives. Under cultural initiatives, UNESCO recognizes something called Intangible Cultural Heritage List. Intangible Cultural Heritage List. So what is this Intangible Cultural Heritage List? These are living traditions which are not seen, which cannot be touched, which are not tangible, they are intangible, like yoga. Okay, yoga, Kumbh Mela, Durga Puja. Okay, so these are richest living traditions of India recognized by UNESCO in this list. Okay, such living traditions from across various countries were included in this list. Okay, currently 15 elements from India, 15 traditions from India were recognized part of this list. This is a cultural initiative by UNESCO. So we have seen 2 scientific initiatives, 1 cultural initiative. Similarly, there is another cultural initiative called World Heritage List. World Heritage List. Okay, it is based on something called World Heritage Convention. It is a list. It is a list of places which carry our legacy, which are our heritage, like Kanchenjunga National Park, okay, Kaziranga National Park, Hampi, temple complexes. So it can be cultural, it can be natural, for any reasons. If there is an area which is very rich in our heritage, which we are like legacy, we are very proud of such things. Such areas are included in the UNESCO World Heritage List. Till now we have 44 under this UNESCO Heritage List. Recently, something called Maratha military landscapes. Maratha military landscapes were included as the 44th one in this list from India. So India has currently 44 sites listed in the World Heritage List of UNESCO, and this is recognized by UNESCO. These 44 ones are recognized by UNESCO. What happens before UNESCO gives its recognition? So India on its own, every country who is a member of UNESCO on its own creates something called tentative list. Tentative list. Tentative means temporary. So India wants 100 things to be implemented in this UNESCO World Heritage List, but it cannot recognize all 100. Every country wants 100, 200 wants to be recognized. So every country can make its own list called tentative list. After keeping at least 1 year in this list, UNESCO considers which among these tentative list items can be included, eligible to be included in the final World Heritage List. So first we have to make our own tentative list. So till now we have made 62. Recently government has added another 7 to this tentative list. So right now we have 69. Okay, so this is the tentative list we are talking about. Let's see the news once again. 7 natural heritage sites from India added to the UNESCO tentative list of World Heritage Sites. So let us see what are these 7. So what are these 7? One is Deccan Traps. Okay, across Maharashtra and Telangana region. And the second one is Saint Mary Islands. Deccan Traps are volcanic lava flows. These are the lava flows flown for millions of years across a region, creating a different type of rocks in that region. And Saint Mary, which is a group of islands near Karnataka, Udupi. Okay. Third one is Meghalaya caves. I will show you the images. Just understand that these are some unique landforms. These are some unique landforms which India is proud of having these as a part of it. So these are our heritage. These are some unique landforms. Meghalayan Ace caves. So there are some caves in Meghalaya. They are very unique in such a way that the timeline they have formed was recognized as a separate timeline in the geological age called Meghalayan Age. Okay. Then Naga Hill ophiolite. Naga Hill ophiolite. Ophiolite means it is a kind of stone like oceanic crust. It is the oceanic crust that came upwards on the land. The oceanic crust which protrudes outside of land is ophiolite. We can see that in the Nagaland. On land, you can see something that's supposed to be in the ocean. So that is why this is unique. Naga Hill ophiolite. Then comes Erramatti Dibbalu, okay, red sand dunes. If you translate this Telugu word, Erramatti Dibbalu into English, it is called red sand dunes. There are a unique formation of red sand dunes near Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. So it was also added to the tentative list of this World Heritage Sites. Then there is a arch in Tirumala Hills. It is also very famous, okay. It is also added. Then there is something called Varkala Cliffs in Kerala. So all of these 7 are added to the tentative list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites because they are very unique. You can see here, these are Deccan Traps, how lava flows created layers of unique type of rocks over the landform. Then you can see this Saint Mary Islands near Karnataka. So you can see as they look like human-made pillars, that is why they are so unique. They look like human-made and they are made of basalt. And here you can see Meghalaya caves and Erramatti Dibbalu from Andhra Pradesh. Then you can see this Naga Hill ophiolite, which is made of ocean crust. Then you can see here Tirumala Hills, This arch, the uniqueness of this arch is that all the surrounding rocks are different in age compared to this rock. This rock is having 1.5 billion year difference to the surrounding rock. It's like all the surrounding rocks formed 1.5 billion years after this rock. So archaeologists were not able to understand why this particular rock is very old and very unique, why there is non-conformity between surrounding rocks and this rock. And you can see here this Varkala cliffs in Kerala. Okay, so it is directly protruding from the ocean, creating some unique type of features. So that's why it is very unique. These 7 items are included as a part of tentative list of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So after keeping them for at least 1 year, UNESCO might add some of them into the original World Heritage List. So in the same way, Buddhist site of Sarnath. So we know, let's go to the Buddhism. So where did Buddha born? Buddha was born in Lumini. Then he has attained Nirvana in Bodh Gaya. Then he has given his first sermon in Sarnath. Then he died in Kushinagar. So these are places associated with the life cycle of Buddha. You will read in Buddhism. Government has also made this as a Buddhist circuit as a part of its tourism programs and schemes. So now this Sarnath, in this Sarnath, because Buddha, enlightened Buddha, has given his first sermon, it is called Dharma Chakra Pravartana. That event when Buddha gave his first sermon is called Dharma Chakra Pravartana. That means it started the wheel of Dharma. It started the wheel of law. It is the moment Dharma started in the history of the world. So it is called Dharma Chakra Pravartana in Buddhist history. So to commemorate this event, King Ashoka, who was a Buddhist follower in 3rd century BC, he has constructed a lion capital pillar from which our national emblem, current national emblem, inspired. Then he has also constructed Dhammeka Stupa, something called Dhammeka Stupa. You can see here, this is the Dhammeka Stupa. This is the Dhammeka Stupa. So this was constructed by King Ashoka in 3rd century BC. After that, many modifications were done by Gupta kings, Kushanas, etc. and later rulers. So it was added to the tentative list previously, some 26-27 years back. Then it was recognized as a part of World Heritage Site also. Sorry, it is about to be recognized as, it was nominated for the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Now UNESCO has to decide whether to add this as a part of World Heritage Site or not. So UNESCO officials are coming to India. UNESCO officials are coming to India because India nominated this after keeping at least 1 year. So now government is keeping it ready. And government has also made a change to this ancient monument. So previously it was thought, because this Dhammeka Stupa constructed by Ashoka was destroyed by later rulers like Muslim rulers, then it was revived. It was thought it was revived by some Britishers. It was thought it was our legacy gone, but Britishers revived it. But later research, recent research found out that a local ruler called Babu Jagat Singh, a local ruler in UP called Babu Jagat Singh, is the one actually revived this before Britishers, but the credit has gone to Britishers. So recently Archaeological Survey of India has also rewritten the plaque. Previously the credit was given to the Britishers. Now these plaques are being replaced with the credit to the right local ruler Babu Jagat Singh. So this is the news in current affairs. So that is the news article. This is from Indian Express. Next one. So Kerala government is organizing Global Ayyappa Sangamam in Kerala Sabarimala. So Sabarimala is a very famous temple in the Western Ghats of Kerala. The deity here is the Lord Ayyappa, who is believed to be the son of Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu, and he is believed to be a silhouette god. And that is why in this shrine, women of the menstruating age, that is between 10 and 50 years, were not allowed customarily. So in this Ayyappa temple, men and only children, women, children, lady children and girl children and elderly women were only allowed, because the god is celibate. This was the custom happening since time immemorial till 2018. But in 2018, Supreme Court has given a judgment saying that this practice of not allowing menstruant women is against the Article 14-15 rights of equality of women and Article 25 right to practice religion of women. So it is seen as a discriminatory thing. So Supreme Court has kept a prohibition on this practice. Women of all ages shall be allowed after the Supreme Court judgment. But then it was criticized, the judgment was criticized. Many people protested, saying that under Article 26, every community, every religious community has the right to manage their religious affairs. So Hindus are managing their own religious affairs and government is intruding into that. So it was the criticism. So this judgment was currently under revision. And in actual reality, it is still continuing. Women were allowed, but because of safety issues and protests of the local people, in actual reality, it is not being implemented, even though there is a Supreme Court judgment prohibiting this practice. Still, women of 10 to 50 years are not allowed, and Supreme Court itself is considering its own judgment, considering the balance between Article 26 and other rights. So it is a debate of Article 14, 15 and 25 versus Article 26. So this is about the shrine of Sabarimala temple. Now the Kerala government, which is ironically a communist government. Theoretically, communists are completely against the religion. Religion is the opium of the masses, says Karl Marx. But here, the Kerala left government, in a grandeur way, is organizing global Ayyappa Sangam to make Sabarimala a global tourism spot. So this shows that, you can use this in essay, this shows that politics is more about appeasement and power rather than principles. So next one, Jnana Bharata mission. So Jnana Bharata mission is an initiative of Government India to preserve and digitize manuscripts. What are manuscripts? Manuscripts are handwritten materials, handwritten documents or books that are written on palm leaves, tree barks, cloths, etc. In ancient times, there was no modern pen and paper. So in ancient times, whatever documents were written as manuscripts. So to preserve these ancient manuscripts, which are very high in scientific, aesthetic and medical values, government has brought up a scheme called Jnana Bharata scheme. Under this scheme, all these ancient manuscripts, whatever government can find, it will digitize it and it will record it. It will keep the record that this thing was already mentioned in this document in ancient times. Okay, so that there is no piracy, there is no theft of our ancient knowledge. Okay, it is implemented by Ministry of Culture and it was announced in the Union Budget 25-26. That's it, a small news only, mostly prelims based. It is called Jnana Bharata mission. Okay. Moving on, so we are done with art and culture. Moving on to history. So in Indian Express, there was an article on Operation Polo. So what is Operation Polo? 77 years back, after independence, in the month of September. So we all know there are three princely states remained adamant after the independence. One is Jammu and Kashmir. It does not want to be a part of India or part of Pakistan. Then there is Junagadh in Gujarat, whose king want to be part of Pakistan, but people want to be part of India. So after a plebiscite, it became a part of India. Then Hyderabad. So as you can see, Hyderabad is in the center of India at that time and it does not want to be a part of India. So it was described as a cancer in the middle of an Indian body. So it is a very dangerous thing because Hyderabad ruler, Nizam ruler, is a Muslim ruler who shares sympathy with the Pakistani government. So if you have somebody who is sympathetic with Pakistan in the center of your country, it is a very dangerous thing security wise. So at that time, there were negotiations with the Nizam of Hyderabad to become part of India, but it was not so successful. It kept on dragging for many months. So tired of this and never-ending conclusions, government has taken the initiative called Operation Polo. So with this Operation Polo, it was a police action. Hyderabad has become a part of independent India. So that's it. That's it about the Operation Polo. Just a simple prelims bit. What is Operation Polo related to? It related to the annexation of state of Hyderabad. Then coming to world history. So in the Hindu, there is a small snippet of 50-year celebration of independence of Papua New Guinea country. So what is this Papua New Guinea country? It is a small country near Australia. As you can see, this is Australian island. So above Australia, there is this Guinea island. This is called Guinea island. Half of this belongs to the Indonesia. Left half of this belongs to Indonesia. And right half of this is called Papua New Guinea. Along with these islands, it is called country of Papua New Guinea. So previously it was ruled by, half of it ruled by Britain, half of it ruled by Germany, top of ruled by Germany, bottom of ruled by Britain. Then after World War I, both came to the hands of the Britain, which handed over it to the Australia. So Australia ruled Papua New Guinea for most part of the 20th century. Then in 1975, on September 16, 1975, Australia wanted a friendly separation because after World War II, all the colonial powers giving all the countries independence one by one. So Australia does not want to be this seen as a colonial power which uses brutal force. It wants to give independence to the people in a friendly way. It wants to remain a friendly neighbor. So it has peacefully handed over the affairs of its own country to the Papua New Guinea, which became the Papua New Guinea country in 1975. So now it turns out 50 years of this handover of independence. Now Papua New Guinea is a constitutional monarchy. It still recognizes the British monarchy. India does not recognize the British monarchy, but Papua New Guinea still recognizes the British monarchy. Okay, it is part of Commonwealth also. So as you can see here, the neighbors, left side Indonesia, south side Australia, okay, and southeast Solomon Islands. Moving on, another part of world history. So our neighbor Nepal, as you must be knowing that the government in Nepal has been toppled. There is a revolution in Nepal and there is a new interim government. So there were many articles in both Hindu and Indian Express. It is not a new thing for the Nepal to see a revolution. In fact, there were many revolutions till now in Nepal. So just as a part of world history, let us see what happened till now. So as you can see, many revolutions in Nepal. So till 1951, Nepal was organized by something called Rana oligarchy. What is oligarchy? Oligarchy is a group of powerful people ruling over a state or society or a country. So there is a king before 1951 also, but like Marathas, like Pashwas in Marathas, this oligarchy is more powerful. Prime Minister is more powerful than the actual king. So it was the system till 1951. When in 1951 the king taken the real power in its hands. So in 1951 it became absolute monarchy. Okay, it kept on happening. But in 1990 people revolted. People revolted in 1990. They wanted democracy. Okay, they wanted democracy. So slowly some democracy started coming parts under monarchy only. But then from 1996 to 2006, Maoist insurgency occurred in Nepal also. This was the time. Peak Maoist insurgency, left-wing extremism is happening in India. India is facing left-wing extremism during this period also. Nepal also seen this left-wing extremism in its country. And till 2006, this was the dominating thing. Then in 2006, another revolution happened. So king this time thought, okay, I will give you the democracy. So under king, some peace accords were signed and Nepal became a Federal Democratic Republic. So here republic means now monarchy is abolished in 2008. In 2008, Nepal became a republic. So monarchy was abolished. In 2015, it has adopted a different constitution for itself. In 2015, Nepal has adopted a different constitution for itself. So it became a federal secular republic system. Then in 2025, still another revolution happened. Why in a democracy another revolution happened? So the immediate event right now is that banning of social media by the government. So what actually happened in Nepal is that, so many people were irritated by the rich lifestyle of the powerful people. When the common people are in much poverty, youth have no jobs, there is very high unemployment, but the people who are in power and their children were living extravagant lifestyle. So they started a trend called Nepo baby. So in social media, hashtag Nepo baby, etc. People started doing tweets, etc. like that, and they have done live streams of the corruption, etc. All the things that can be condemned. So government could not take this criticism, and government has banned the social media in Nepal, which turned out to be a disastrous event for it. So people came onto the streets, revolted, and dethroned the government itself. So why this revolution keep happening in Nepal continuously every 10 or 20 years, one after one another? So much like 18th, 19th century France, monarchy replaced by republic, republic replaced by monarchy, then something else, something else. Why it keeps happening? Because unfinished agendas. Rulers are coming and going, but no one is doing the proper justice for the people. Weak institutions. Unlike India, where institutions like judiciary, chief ministers, etc., institutions are powerful. Unlike in India, Nepal institutions are very weak. They are not being developed in a strong sense. Exclusion. So whatever the constitution or rules they are making, they are not including all the people. Like in India, we are trying to be inclusive. We are trying to be secular, respecting all religions. We are trying to help the oppressed classes through reservation, etc. We are trying to be inclusive, trying to include women, etc. But Nepal is not taking our inspiration in such way. It is taking a majoritarian way. That is why revolutions kept on happening and youth are frustrated. When there is high unemployment, when the system is not proper, youth becomes frustrated. And there is geopolitics also. Nepal has on one side China as neighbor, on another side India as neighbor. So it is continuously pulled between India and China. India does not want to Nepal go into China hands. China wants to keep Nepal in its hands. So among this geopolitics also, the stability in China and stability in Nepal is very difficult. So one more thing you can see in recent event is that this is not the only isolated incident. Few years back, Sri Lanka has seen riots, revolution, people coming to streets because there is an economic crisis, government was toppled, and same happened in the Bangladesh last year. Same happened to the Bangladesh last year. Bangladesh Prime Minister ran to India, for safety. And recently in August 2025, there were protests in Indonesia also because the economy is not being managed properly. Now it's in Nepal. So why it keeps on happening? These are the countries having very high youth population like India. These are the countries supposed to have very high demographic dividend like India. So these are the countries which supposed to have this demographic dividend. We are discussing a topic of Indian society, population and related issues, demographic dividend. So there is a lesson for India to learn here. Because we are also having demographic dividend, that means very high young population compared to the older and children. So why these countries which are having high demographic dividend are not able to harness it, not able to utilize it? Because having demographic dividend does not mean growth is automatic. You need to give people proper jobs, proper skills, etc. and you need to promote industrialization. Okay, you have human resources, you need to keep them healthy, you need to give them skills and education, etc., so that they can be of actual use to the economy, and people are busy. When government is not able to provide these things, minimum necessities, then you cannot reap the demographic dividend. And another thing, if you see from the international relations perspective, why this is happening in Indian neighborhood? One after the other. First Sri Lanka collapsed, then Bangladesh. Myanmar was never stable. Myanmar democracy was toppled, and Myanmar as on date is under military rule. Afghanistan, people knows what is happening in Afghanistan. Taliban is openly ruling the Afghanistan. So among all the Indian neighbors, Pakistan and China were not friendly with India from the beginning. Afghanistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka were not stable. That keeps Bhutan as the only peaceful, friendly neighbor with India. See the chaotic neighborhood, the unstable neighborhood of India. Okay, so this is an aspect you can use in essay, or a question might come. So this is what analysis is. You cannot just read the news, you have to do analysis in this way. So then there is social media. So what happened in Nepal? So when social media banning, people could not take it. Does that mean social media is all positive? There are no negatives from social media. For an individual or for the society also, there are many negatives. If you see in Nepal right now, it is not a responsible revolution. They have tortured their parliament. They have tortured their Supreme Court. They have done open robbery, open theft, all the rioters, all the protesters. They are not disciplined. Okay, and they have thrashed ministers, chief minister, prime minister, etc. on roads. And they have rioted into the prisons and let prisoners escape. So it is a very lawlessness in the Nepal revolution. It is not an organized revolution. It is a pure chaos. So it is fueled by social media. So social media has both positive and negative impacts on both individual and the society. So social media is a double-edged sword, which can be proven from this incident of Nepal. So another issue from world history. So Manipur was burning for the past 2 years. Now government has brought it under control. Government has imposed president rule in the state of Manipur, and government has controlled the state of Manipur to some extent. So Prime Minister went to the Manipur and gave some inspiring speech. Now Prime Minister is calling for peace in the state. Prime Minister is trying to bring all stakeholders to the negotiation table and calm the nerves in the state of Manipur. So in his speech, he has mentioned about the World War II battle. World War II, which is between the Allied and Axis powers. The battle happened in the Manipur. Okay, if you see in the year 1944, when Subhash Chandra Bose went to Andaman Nicobar, you see World War II, India was a party to the World War II, but not a direct party. And World War II never happened directly on the Indian mainland. The only two places which has seen a part of World War II in India was, one is Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and the one is northeast cities of Kohima and Impal. Only these two. So Subhash Chandra Bose has formed this army, has taken the lead of this Indian National Army, and he came through the Myanmar or Burma route. So this Imphal, this plain of Imphal is a very strategic location for the government. So this Imphal Kohima location is very important to the British army at that time, Allied forces at that time. So Japanese is trying to take over, Japanese and also Indian National Army led by Subhash Chandra Bose trying to take over the cities of Imphal and Kohima from the Allied forces. Okay, it is not a successful event, but the battles of Imphal and Kohima were a part of history now, world history. Okay, so the bravery shown by Indian soldiers on both sides were highlighted by the Prime Minister. So what happened here? In the towns of Imphal and Kohima, wars occurred between Japanese and Indian National Army on one side and Allied forces led by British on one side, which were ultimately led by the Allied forces. Okay. So just a brief mention only, just understand there is nothing much here. Because it was in the Prime Minister's speech, we just have to see and understand what it is. And there is one news happening, it is a happening one. So there is nothing particular to learn from this. I thought you might use it in the essay. So in all the Western countries right now, whether it is USA or Australia or UK, so there are severe protests. There is a right-wing conservatism protesting the high immigrant population coming to their countries. So in Australia, there was a big rally against the too much population of Indians, alleged too much population of Indians, and Trump openly is very aggressive towards the immigration. He has yesterday raised the fee of H1B visa too much also, and same in UK also there were rallies against the immigrant Indian population. So we are till now, many of Indians till now going abroad and thinking it is a good workplace and seeing India as a not a good workplace till now, but now they are retaliating, they are not accepting anymore like they used to do. So this is a kind of new thing happening in the world. So you can use these points in the essay or if there is any direct question also. So understand, the rise of right-wing conservatism in this country now is becoming a problem for Indian diaspora. Moving to Indian society, there is a news article called Pink Tax. There is an article on Pink Tax. So you no need to know this whole article. So what is this Pink Tax? It is not a real tax. Pink Tax is not a real tax. It is a term used, but it is not a real tax. Why it is called Pink Tax? So what happens in the outside reality is that man gets haircut and woman gets haircut. Even if you do similar haircuts, similar items, similar place, the price charged for woman haircut is significantly more than man haircut. Men haircut is done in 100, 200, woman haircut is charged for 500. Men makeup is 200, 300, woman makeup is 500, 600. Men t-shirt is 300, 400. Similar t-shirt made of similar item in a similar way costs around 800, 900 for the woman. Why? Because it is a marketing strategy employed by these sellers, selling similar products at a higher prices for a woman, because they believe it works with the women. Women were focused on these things. So there are some items which are sold at a very high price compared to similar items that were sold to the men, and this price increase is only because the buyers are women. So this is called Pink Tax because it is a gender-based discrimination. So assuming that woman feels this as a necessity, they are increasing the prices artificially. This is called Pink Tax. Okay, you are paying extra money just because you are a woman. So next one is Ho tribals. There is a Adivasi community called Ho community. It is a group of tribes. It is a group of tribes called Ho community, and these tribes have a system called Monkey Munda system, and now they are protesting because government is intruding into this system. Okay, government is trying to ignore their system. So these Ho tribes near the Jharkhand region, okay, near the Jharkhand region, so they have a system called Monkey Munda system. What is this system? So there is a village, every village has a head. He is for settling disputes. There is a village head for settling disputes. He is called Munda. Okay, and now there is a group of villages. Every village has this village head, and there are group of villages. Group of villages is called PID, PIDH. So all the villages have one Munda each to settle their respective disputes, and when you club all these villages into a cluster, all of them together have a cluster head called monkey. So if you are not satisfied with the dispute settlement by Munda, you can appeal to the monkey. Okay, so this is the Monkey Munda system. This is the traditional system of this Ho community tribals who are living in this Jharkhand region. So recently there was an allegation that government is not recognizing it because this is an ancient practice of tribals. We are, as per our constitution, we are not disturbing with the tribal rights. So there was an allegation that this monkey munda governance system was ignored. So if you see the history, this was practiced in this region. Kolhan is a region of the Jharkhand. So this was practiced for many years, but traditionally it is for dispute settlement only. Traditionally it is for dispute settlements. So when Britishers came and they have introduced their own revenue system, initially they tried through normal Jamindar systems. Their permanent settlement or Jamindar system is nothing but giving lands to the Jamindars at a fixed price, 1/11 of the revenue collected for a fixed number of years. But this system did not work peacefully, properly, without this recognition of monkey munda system. So Britishers ultimately made this monkey munda system, which is a traditional system, as a part of their own revenue system. So they have recognized this. Okay, you people have a village head. I also make him the official, my own official. Okay, so Britishers co-opted this monkey munda system. They made it part of their own administration. We have merely realized it. We have not made it a full part. We have recognized it. Okay, it is their own management of system. So till now we have respected it. Okay, till now we have respected it. Now they are protesting that government is trying to ignore the system, violate the system. Okay, so it is just a information about this monkey munda system. Moving on. So next news is India gets license to score Indian Ocean for precious metals. So we all know this International Seabed Authority. So there is something called International Seabed Authority. It was formed under something called United Nations Convention on Law of Seas. So what does it does? So you all must be knowing this UN clause diagram. So we have our own land ocean border. So from this border up to 12 nautical miles, it is called territorial sea. What is territorial sea? That means it is a sea, but it is treated as a part of territory of the nation. So up to 12 nautical miles, a country will have full rights under this region. Even if it is a water part, ocean, still country will have full rights. If someone is coming here, they have to take permission from India, they have to inform India. And after that, it is called 12 nautical, another 12 nautical mile. From this end of 12 nautical mile, another 12 nautical mile, it is called contiguous zone. So it is a contiguous zone to the territorial sea. Here rights are somewhat diluted. Like if someone is moving in airspace, you cannot say anything. Here in this territorial sea, it is your national airspace, but after that, it is international airspace. So here you have full rights. For the next 12 nautical miles, your rights are somewhat diluted. And from the baseline till 200 nautical miles, you have exclusive economic rights. After 24 nautical miles, you will not have any other rights except economic rights. What is economic rights? Like if there is a mineral here, at 100 nautical mile, there is a mineral. I can mine from Indian land ocean border, from Indian beach. If there is a very important mineral at 100 nautical miles, India can claim ownership of it. It is India's, even though it is not in India's territorial sea or contiguous zone. So economic rights were extended up to 200 nautical miles. What happens after 200 nautical miles? If someone is roaming here, do they have to inform anyone? If someone is mining here, or if someone is hunting some whales, who they have to inform? Who will monitor this? Who will monitor? It is International Seabed Authority. So beyond the 200 nautical miles, which is called high seas, comes under the purview of International Seabed Authority. It decides, based on the rules agreed by the countries, it decides which country have the rights to mine in this high seas, etc. So based on these rules, now this International Seabed Authority has granted rights of mining, something called polymetallic sulfides. Polymetallic sulfides in this zone called Carlsberg Ridge. So this is India. This is India. This is Indian plate. You must have read about tectonic plates in geography. This is Indian plate. This is Arabian plate. This is Somalian plate. So at this tri-junction, we have something called Carlsberg Ridge. So near this ridge, there is a very high concentration of metal, something called polymetallic sulfides, which have very high metals, other metals which are very useful to us. So India has obtained the license to explore this region for this polymetallic sulfides from this International Seabed Authority. Okay, so it is a 15-year exploration contract with International Seabed Authority to explore polymetallic sulfides at the Carlsberg Ridge. And this is not the first one. India already had one contract for polymetallic nodules. I will explain the difference between what is polymetallic nodules and what is polymetallic sulfides. So previously we had a agreement for polymetallic nodules in the Central Indian Ocean. Then another contract in the Indian Ocean for polymetallic sulfides. So this is third one. So the current one is third one. Previously one for polymetallic nodules and one for polymetallic sulfides. So third one is also for polymetallic sulfides. So all three we have made deals with the International Seabed Authority. So what is this polymetallic nodules and polymetallic sulfides? You can see here International Seabed Authority was established under this UNCLOS Convention in 1982 and its headquarters is Kingston, Jamaica. So if there is a prelims bit, you can see here. So what is the difference between polymetallic nodules or polymetallic sulfides and polymetallic sulfides? So polymetallic nodules are something that you can find on ocean bed. See, I will show you the image. So if you see here, these are polymetallic nodules. So this is something you will find on the ocean floor as a nodules. They cannot be found in high concentration at a single place. Instead, they are distributed across the ocean floor in small portions. So you just have to combine them, and they are very rich in very unique elements which can be useful in new technologies like renewable energy, etc. So polymetallic nodules will be very helpful to India, and India obtained the license also. So now there is another mineral called polymetallic sulfide. So unlike these polymetallic nodules which are on the sea floor, polymetallic sulfides are not on the sea floor. They will be on the exhaust of the ridges. So from ridges, lava or something hot from the earth in inner portion will come out. So near this hot ridges, you will find the polymetallic sulfides. It is not easy to obtain like polymetallic nodules. Nodule will be there. You just have to gather them. But extracting polymetallic sulfides is a bit difficult because they can be found only in a very hot places. Hot places near the vents, thermal vents in the ocean. So this is the difference between polymetallic nodules versus polymetallic sulfides. So nodules can be found on deep ocean floor, and polymetallic sulfides, they can be found in the hydrothermal vents near mid-ocean ridges. So recent deal with is for the polymetallic sulfides. So moving on, Government of India has announced a new policy for geothermal energy. Geothermal energy. So we want to move away from the fossil fuels. We want to move away from the petrol, diesel, coal, etc. These are fossil fuels polluting the environment. Now we want to move from these non-renewable resources to the renewable resources. But among the renewable resources, government is mostly focusing on solar or wind energy only till now. So government wants to diversify it. Government wants to use other potentials like geothermal energy. So India has a vast potential for geothermal energy. As you can see here, this Puga Valley in Jammu and Kashmir, Manikaran in Himachal Pradesh. These are very hot spots for the geothermal energy. What is geothermal energy? That means earth in inner core, mantle, etc. are very hot, asthenosphere, etc. So below tectonic plates, there are hot plasmas continuously heating the portions above it. So when the water inside the earth gets heated and comes towards the surface, it is a hot spring. So when hot springs pop out in open areas, you can use that energy. They are called, the energy obtained in such a way called geothermal energy. So now government has announced a new policy for the geothermal energy. So these are various hotspots for geothermal energy across India. So just brief about the new policy. It helps in the India becoming net zero by 2070. India has a target to become net zero polluting country by 2070. By 2070, we promised the world to stop the usage of fossil fuels completely. It is a target by India. To meet this target, we need to replace fossil fuels with the renewable resources like solar, wind, and geothermal energy. So under this policy, government wants to develop 381 hot springs, 10 geothermal provinces. Okay, and these geothermal hotspots are divided into two. One is high enthalpy, another one is low enthalpy. What is enthalpy? Enthalpy is nothing but the amount of heat. Take a unit volume of water, 1 square meter volume of water, how much heat energy it has. If it is high enough, you can use it for the power generation, electricity. If it is not high enough, you cannot use it for power generation. You can use it for other purposes like cooling, agriculture, industrial use, etc. So based on the enthalpy of the particular region, if the energy source you find is having high concentration of heat, high energy, high heat energy, you can use it the power generation, and also you will use low enthalpy regions for other suited purposes like cooling, agriculture, and other hybrid uses. And 100% FDI. 100% foreign direct investment. That means if a foreigner comes and he wants to invest in extracting geothermal energy, he can do so. He does not have to take permission from government. He does not have to partner with an Indian country. 100% foreign direct investment is allowed in this. This is because government wants to promote this particular type of energy which is not very developed till now. Okay, so government has come up with the other regulations also, and government has addressing some challenges also like initial high cost. This policy discusses on how to address the initial challenges, etc. So all of this is part of India's new geothermal energy policy 2025. So moving on to polity. So in polity, first news is the demand for ST status. Demand for ST status in some northeastern regions. So recently many tribes in Assam especially like Koch, Rajbangs. So these are all the tribes in the northeastern region. Koch, Rajbangs and Chutia community, Matak, Moran and Taiyohom. So these are the communities in northeastern regions who are right now demanding ST status because they are tribals, but right now they were not given scheduled tribe status. So as you are well aware, scheduled tribe status comes with some benefits like additional reservation, etc. So how is ST status granted in India? If some community needs to be included in a scheduled tribe, initial list was published by President of India under Article 342. So we have Article 342. So we have Article 340 for BC Commission, and we have Article 341 under which President initially decides who are the SC communities across India state-wise. Then Parliament can modify this list, and similarly there is Article 342 which says President first decides who will be the scheduled tribe communities in each state, then Parliament can modify this list. Initial power is in the hands of President and modification power is in the hands of Parliament. So these communities under Article 342, they want to be included in the scheduled tribe communities. So there is a community called Morons, and they also coming to the streets and protesting, demanding ST status. And there is also another tribe protesting right now, Coach Rajbongshi. So at a time, two communities coming to the outside and demanding the ST status. So you can see the sensitive situation in the northeast here. If you see whole Manipur issue also similar to this. So in Manipur you will see Meitei community who is a dominant comparatively advanced community, and there are other tribal communities, Kukis, Nagas, Jomis, etc. So this Meitei community in Manipur, they started demanding SC status, and they are the majority dominant community in the state of Manipur. So when these people demanding SC status, other communities are opposing this demand, and in this demand and opposition, it got flared up and it became a full-scale communal issue between the Meiteis and non-Meiteis community, which is burning the Manipur for the last 2 years. Similar demands are being made by these communities in the Assam. So another one news article I just want to show to you so that you can use it in the SAR GS answers as a value addition. So this article says that in the Supreme Court, the cases pending right now are 88,417 and they are all-time high. They are at an all-time high. That means this many cases were never pending in the history of India till now. In the Supreme Court, where there are 34 judges under Article 124. So under Article 124, the sanction strength to the Supreme Court of India is 34 right now. So Supreme Court right now has full strength. Full strength. Other high courts, etc., does not have full strength. Below divisional courts, district court does not have full strength. But Supreme Court has full strength and it is having 88,000 pending. And if you go to High Court, the pendency will be in lakhs. And if you go to the District Court, the pendency will be in the tens of lakhs. So such is the situation of judiciary, high pending. So this is a issue. You can have a brief note making on the extent of the problem and the possible solutions. Okay, I don't want to discuss this, but just reminding you, it can be asked or it can be used as a value addition in the exam. So the next article is about online gaming ban. So recently Government of India has banned the online gaming which has element of money. If you are using money, your game is banned. Only free games are allowed. So games are basically two types. Any games are basically two types. Games of skill and games of chance. So you play Ludo. Ludo is a game, example of game of chance. There is no skill involved in Ludo. In Ludo, we will just roll the dice. Whatever comes in the dice, snake and ladder, Ludo, etc., we will just put it. On the other hand, you take the game of chess. It is a game of skill. You use mind. All sports, it is a game of skill. So games are particularly two types, game of skill and game of chance. So till now, offline, before internet came, we also have both these two. So we used to call game of chance mostly as a gambling. It is a gambling. Gambling is seen as an addiction. And gambling is a state subject. Under Schedule 7, we have union list, state list, concurrent list. Under Schedule 7, gambling is given as a state subject. That means states can decide whether they will allow gambling or not. So some states allow gambling. Take lottery. Lottery is a pure game of chance. Kerala allows it. In Kerala, you can participate open in the lottery, but in many other states, lottery is banned. So gambling is a state subject and states can decide that. But what about online games? Online means digital thing. Digital or internet thing is not a thing. When constitution was made, it was not in any list, and constitution says any residuary subjects is with the union. So anything that is digital or online, union government can claim under its purview. But if you speak, gambling comes under state. So this is a typical federal issue, where one thing, online gambling, who is the proper authority to decide on online gambling? Gambling is a state subject, but union government can claim it is online. Online was not there when constitution was made. It is a residuary subject. It will come under my power. So there is a debate going on, but union government has gone ahead and it has banned all online games which uses money, whether it is skill or chance. Even if it is skill based, like Dream 11 or poker. If you see, these are two games like there are some games online called poker. Poker is played with playing cards. You need some skill. And Dream 11, you need some skills and knowledge. If some player is not playing and you don't know, include it in team, you will lose. You need to know which players are in form, which players are playing the game, and who can better perform in the given conditions of that match. So Dream 11 can be seen as a game of skill. Okay, so even if they are game of skills, if they use money, government has banned it. So only free online games were allowed under this. So that is why it is receiving criticism. So you cannot prohibit all games because some of them are games of skills, not all are gambling. So that is the criticism. So some people have already petitioned against this ban imposed by government before the courts. So there are multiple articles analyzing this issue. What government has done, why it is being protested. Okay, so this is the summary if you ask me. So the criticism is that government has banned games of skill also. So Promotion and Regulation of Online Gaming Act 2025, it is the act passed by the government, bans all online money games, whether it is game, skill or chance based. Okay, there are penalties for violation, strict penalties for violation. Government has cited some concern, national security concerns, that people who launder money, people who wants to send black money, illegal money to the other countries, they are using these online games, online wallets as a medium. So money laundering became complex. Okay, illicit transfers, tax evasion, etc. are happening because of these online games, and they are also having a addiction component. People are becoming addicted. People are putting lakhs and lakhs of bets and losing. Many people committed suicides also after losing lakhs of money in online games. So citing all these reasons, government has imposed bans, but some people are arguing, first of all, you don't have the authority because gambling comes under the state list. First, you don't have the competence. It comes under the state list. This is one argument. Some other people say it is violating my right to equality and my right to privacy. Right to live with dignity and privacy. Article 21, Article 14 and Article 19. Okay, right to profession. Who are you to tell me what to do? Government is now telling me playing Dream 11 is bad. Why it is bad for me? I am earning money. Why are you telling me it is bad for money? Okay, it is violating my right to equality. Some people like to play offline, some people like to play online. I have the skill and I am earning money. You are telling me it is bad. I am not getting addicted. You are telling me I can be addicted. So, and it is my thing. What I do in my private time, in my personal space, without troubling anyone, it is my right to privacy. Why are you intruding it? Why are you telling me something is bad for me, which I don't think so? So, some people argue the imposition of government blanket ban is a violation of Articles 14, 19 and 21. Okay? And you are not distinguishing skill-based games from chance-based games. You are taking chess and Ludo, both are same. Both are not same. And your ban also is putting many jobs into the risk. Many people are employed and this industry is rising. So much FDI is coming. Government itself is earning so much tax revenues. Now all the revenues gone, all the foreign investment gone, all the jobs gone in the online sector. You should have instead done strong KYC norms. You should have put strong parental control. You should have spread awareness, etc. You should have put spending limits, etc. Instead of all of this, you have put blanket ban. Okay, so this is a criticism. Now it is in the court's purview. Now court will decide. So after some 15 minutes, I will give a break. Just last 15 minutes. So next news article is Great Nicobar Project. So Indian government has undertaken an ambitious program called Great Nicobar Project. So first see here. So these are the Andaman Islands. These are the Nicobar Islands. They are separated by something called 10-degree channel. Okay, Andaman, which itself is divided into North Andaman, Middle Andaman, South Andaman, and Little Andaman. Then below 10-degree channel, Nicobar Islands, Car Nicobar, and at the bottom, there is something called Great Nicobar Island. Now I am talking about this Great Nicobar Island. We are talking about this Great Nicobar Island, which is a part of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So if zooming into this Great Nicobar Island, you see here, this is a Great Nicobar Island. It has two national parks. One is Campbell Bay National Park, another one is Galathea Bay National Park. As you can see here, mostly whole island more or less is protected. It is a very sensitive area, having some sensitive tribes, having very rich biodiversity. So it is a very sensitive zone. So on this island, government wants to develop a international airport. Government wants to develop a big transshipment terminal. What is transshipment terminal? India has many ports, but there is no transshipment port in India. Transshipment port is a very big port where even large ships can come, huge, very big size, unimaginable size. Large size ships can come, transshipment, and they can shift to other types of modes like roads, railways, or into the smaller ships. So a large cargo will come, it needs a special infrastructure at the port. From the large ship, it can be taken to the smaller ships or other modes, road, rail, etc. India right now does not have such kind of large transshipment port. Okay, you must have heard about something called Villingam in Kerala also. It is also being developed. So here also in here also in Great Nicobar, government is planning a transshipment terminal in the Great Nicobar. So, and government is also trying to plan township area, new townships, new area development programs. Okay, so government is more or less developing the center coastal area, which is very sensitive in biodiversity, in flora and fauna, and crossing the national parks, and having population of some rare tribes. So this is the criticism. Government ambition is okay, but it is coming at a very sensitive place. So you see, opposition is criticizing the government. Government is going ahead with the project. Government is going ahead with the project, even though there is criticism. You are not listening to anyone's concerns. You are just going. Okay. So there is an article in Indian Express also, both Hindu and Indian Express on this. So it is a project having transshipment terminal and an airport and townships, and also a gas solar power plant, a big power plant also planned. Okay, there is a special SPV for this purpose, Andaman and Nicobar Islands Integrated Development Corporation of India. So it is a part of India's Maritime Vision 2030 and Ambedkar Vision 2047. That is, by 2047, India has a target of becoming developed country. So by that time, we want to develop this port in full swing. So why this particular area is chosen, Great Nicobar Island? Because it lies near to the Malacca Strait. Malacca Strait near Malaysia, Singapore. So all these Indonesian states and islands. So this particular region is very close to the, on one side Myanmar, Coco Island, on another side Malaysia, Singapore, etc. So this is military wise also very strategic. So it is a strategic point compared in the military wise, and you can also develop a new airport, new ship port terminal, and new townships, etc. This is the vision of the government. There is some criticism, still government is going ahead. So what is happening right now? Some people has gone to the National Green Tribunal, NGT. So now they are saying government is violating the Coastal regulation zones. There is something called Environmental Protection Act. Okay, Environmental Protection Act 1986. Under this, Government of India has given something called coastal regulation zones. So these petitioners are arguing government is violating its own guidelines of coastal regulation zones. So it is in the hands of NGT also. So it is also yet to be seen what will happen to this project. As of now, government is going ahead with the project. So these are some criticism, like how much flora is there, coral species, what happened to the rich corals are in the Great Nicobar fauna, etc. What about the tribal rights, etc. So next news article is demand for inclusion in 6th schedule by UT of Ladakh. So you all must be knowing, in 2019, Article 370 was diluted. Article 370 was diluted, it was not removed like the common misconception. It was diluted, and the state of Jammu and Kashmir was divided into UT of Jammu and Kashmir and UT of Ladakh. UT of Jammu and Kashmir and UT of Ladakh. And Jammu and Kashmir was made a UT with legislature. So it has its own representation, even though it is a UT. But for Ladakh, there is no representation. It is under direct central rule. So from that moment, people of Ladakh has been asking to include their state in the 6th schedule. So what is this inclusion in 6th schedule? So we have this Article 244. Under this Article 244, states are classified into two. States having tribal areas except Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, and Mizoram. So Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram, 4 continuous states, except these 4 states where the nature of the tribal management is different from the rest of the country. Except these 4 states, the rest of the states having tribal areas were included in 5th schedule, and the tribal areas in those 5th schedule were managed as listed in the 5th schedule. And these areas which were listed in the 6th schedule will have some things called autonomous district councils, ADCs, autonomous district councils. So this is administration, governance at district level. So instead of imposing from union level or state level, these autonomous district council rule at district level. They are like a sub-state, state within a state. So in Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram, you will see, if you see in Meghalaya there are 3 main tribes, Garo, Khasi, Jaintia. So there is a ADC for Garo tribe, there is a ADC for Jaintia tribe, there is a ADC for Khasi tribe. So it is devolution of power. So these ADCs comes with some special legislative powers, some special judicial powers, so they can administrate their own judicial affair, legislative affairs, and some executive affairs also. So it comes with some power devolution up to local level, which other regions are not having, which comes with some extra protection for their culture and language, etc. So that is why now Ladakh is asking the union government to include it under this 6th schedule, which government is not accepting as of now. Government is proposing alternatives like other benefits under Article 271, etc. Okay, 371, etc. So next news is Waqf Amendment Act. So let us go through this news article comprehensively. So there are multiple news articles because the case went to Supreme Court. So there is something called Waqf Act. There is a concept called Waqf in Islamic law. I will tell you what is Waqf. And there is a regulation of Waqf through Waqf Act 1994. And government has recently made some amendments through Amendment Act 2025. And some of those amendments were criticized and some petitioner went to court, and Supreme Court has issued some interim guidelines. These are not final guidelines. Supreme Court will issue final judgment soon. So as interim measure, it has issued some guidelines. So there are multiple articles in both Hindu and Indian Express. You can see so many articles on single concept. So first is, what is Waqf? WAQF. So if I am a Muslim, I can donate any property in my possession for religious or charity purpose. For charity or religious or any other good purpose. It is no more available for my personal or familial or selfish use. It was my property, I have ownership rights, now I am giving it to the God, I am giving it to the people. That is called waqf property. Once I donate for a public cause or a religious cause, it becomes waqf property. This is a common concept in Islamic countries. So all of those waqf properties which were donated by people across all these years were managed under this Waqf Act. So government has made a Waqf Act. Under it, it formed a central Waqf Council which is at the center, and every state has Waqf boards, and these boards manage the affairs of the Waqf in that particular state. So every Waqf property will have something called Mutawalli or caretaker. So a particular property or group of properties will have a caretaker. So all the Waqf in that particular state comes under the state Waqf board, and at the national level there is a Waqf council. So this is the structure till now. And there are tribunals also if there are any disputes. Like I have donated some property as Waqf, but later my sister came and said, no, my brother did not consult me before donating this. I have some share in that. So there can be some disputes in that. So when disputes arise, it will go to Waqf tribunals. It was also a part of this Waqf Act, and this under this Waqf Act, tribunals have so much of powers. Okay, and there is a concept called Waqf by user. What does it mean, Waqf by user? Waqf by user mean if there is any property used for religious or public purpose, for Islamic purposes for so long, this Waqf board can declare it as a Waqf by user property. Like there is a public area, it is a public government land, and it was used as a cemetery for burying the people for many years. It has gone for 60 years, 70 years. Or it is a public property, some people started praying, slowly there came a dargah or mosque over the 78 years. Nobody donated it, there are no property documents, just over the years it came for under the religious purposes. So after some years, because there is a continuous usage, it can be declared as a Waqf by user. See here, nobody donated, no, there is no clear documentation to what extent and when it was exactly given, etc. So there are some properties called Waqf by user which became Waqf property solely by the prolonged usage, and these are the most disputed ones. And these can declare some properties as Waqf by user. So this was the scenario before the Amendment Act. So as you must be knowing, under our constitution, every religious denomination has the right to manage its own affairs under Article 26. So Muslims are managing their own affairs under Article 26. So if somebody wants to donate something as a Waqf property, it is his practice of religion under Article 25. And there is Article 30 also, a right of any community to have their own, any minority community to have an educational institution of their own. So there may be some educational institutions related to this also. So here we touch across the articles which give rights to the minorities or religious communities from Article 26 to Article 30. So this was the situation until government has made an amendment act to this Waqf Act, original act, and government has named this act as Umeed Act. So this original Waqf Act was renamed as 1995 was renamed as Umeed Act, and first thing government done is government allowed non-Muslims as representative in this central Waqf Council and state Waqf boards. So till now only Muslims can be part of these board members or central council, but now government can appoint some non-Muslims also. Government is saying it is to ensure diversity. It is to keep diverse opinions in this board. And this Waqf by user concept where these boards can declare some property under usage for long as a work property. This was removed. They cannot declare now because this is resulting into encroachment of public properties. This clause was removed. Then the clause which giving very sweeping powers to these boards or tribunals was removed. Okay, and they said only Muslims practicing for at least 5 years can donate a property to the Waqf. So if I am a Hindu today, I can convert next month, and the next month I can donate my property, whatever I have, as a Waqf till now. But now I cannot do it. I have to practice Muslim faith for at least 5 years. So why exactly 5? No reason. Okay. So there may be some motive like to prevent forcible conversations, to donate unlawful things, etc. Like if I convert into Islam, but my remaining family members did not, and I have donated entire property to the Waqf. So to prevent such kind of disputes, this clause have been put. Okay, and it was also ensured tribal lands were protected from declaring as Waqf lands. So we already have 5th and 6th schedules, which one of the main intention, as we have seen in the previous article, is to protect the tribal lands. So these lands were exempted from declaration as Waqf. Okay, so similarly some measures for transparency, etc., some small measures also government taken. So these are the main amendments made by the government to the Waqf Act. So it received criticism. Naturally, it received some criticism. What are those criticisms? So some people said you are infringing on the religious rights granted by the fundamental rights granted by the Constitution. People have their right to practice religion. Minority communities have, any community, any religious community has the right to manage their own affairs. Muslims are managing their own affairs, just like Sabarimala people are managing their own affairs. Okay, same you can take both the issue. In that state has intervened, Sabarimala issue, and here state has intervened. See, there is a concept called essential religious practices. The common thing in the Sabarimala issue and this Waqf issue is Essential Religious Act. What are the mandatory essential acts under a particular religion? Is untouchability essential under Hinduism? No. So government has the right to remove this practice. And there is a community called Dawoodi Bohra community in the Rajasthan, Gujarat areas, etc. Dawoodi Bohra community. It is a Islamic community. In this Dawoodi Bohra community, they resort to something called female genital mutilation. They take the babies, female babies, and they mutilate, damage the private parts of this female so that she will not have excess sexual desire in her younger age, and she will not cross the rules of the community. So this is a kind of inhuman practice, and this practice was challenged. So such kind of practice which are not essential, state can intervene to ensure health, decency and morality of the people. So in the Sabarimala issue, they are saying menstruating women cannot enter the temple. So the question is it a discrimination or it is an essential practice? Of course, society is patriarchal, so people would put such kind of restrictions. No one say no man can enter a particular temple, only woman can enter a particular temple. Okay, so in a patriarchal society, such kind of rules may come. That is why state has to understand, define which is essential religious act, practice or not essential religious practice. So this is a kind of debate thing in India which is still going on. So court is yet to fully determine which is essential religious practice or not. So this issue also touches on the Essential Religious Practice Act. Which things are allowed, which are not. Next, excessive control. One thing government did is that in its amendments, it has put district collector as a final authority over the tribunal. So there are some disputes, property disputes, but tribunal is a judiciary thing. Judiciary is qualified to adjudicate, to resolve disputes. District collector is a part of executive. What does our Article 50 say? Article 50 says, state should, as much as possible, separate executive and judiciary. As much as possible, Article 50 says in Directive Principles of State Policy, because a person who implements the policy should not be the adjudicator. It is a common thing. comes under the separation of powers of doctrine given by Montesquieu. Okay, so it is present in our Article 50, which says as much as possible separate executive from the judiciary. But what is government doing here? Directly putting judicial powers into the hand of executive. Who will district collector report? He reports to the executive, chief minister, ministers, council of ministers. So it is also criticized. You are putting district collector who listens to the state government above the tribunals. Okay, and you are allowing non-Muslim representation into the Muslim boards. It is a criticism. Removal of Waqf by user has criticized that when something historically already part of Islamic religion, what is the purpose of separating it? If something is already under Islamic use and they are declaring it as a public Waqf property and you are excluding it, so it is also criticized. Okay, so and there is a criticism of lack of consultation. You are making a law on Muslim community, but you have not consulted and you have not debated enough in the parliament. Same thing is a criticism with the Great Nicobar project. There is not enough discussion. Same thing with the many acts passed in these times. There is not enough discussion happening in the parliament. Okay, so these are criticism on the Amendment Act. So people naturally went to the court and court is considering the issue, and meanwhile court has issued some interim order. One is it stayed some provisions. For the time being, I am staying some provisions. No. Collector, who is a part of executive, cannot decide the disputes and having the power over the tribunals. It is currently written down till the final order. And why are you saying people are not eligible to donate work till they practice Islam 5 years? How come you this? How you have come to this? How you will implement it? How you will decide when a particular person I have converted to Islam? I don't have to go to government and declare that I have to convert to Islam. It is a personal thing for me. So how do you know when did a person converted to Islam? So first you make rules on that. Till you make rules, I will suspend this. Court has suspended this. Then court said, okay, you can have non-Muslim representation, but you cannot make them a majority. So court has put some cap. It did not bar altogether. It has put some limitations. You can put only 2 members or 3 members in the board. And some things court has upheld. Like, okay, for the transparency, government has put something called Limitation Act. Government has said in the Amendment Act, all Waqf properties, whatever the Waqf property till now, within 6 months, they should be reported to the government and they should be made recorded in digital form. All the Waqf properties existing in India, within 6 months, they should be brought into digital form on the record. And government also applied something called Limitation Act. What is this Limitation Act? If there is any dispute, it should be resolved within a particular time, specified time. If government says 6 months or 1 year, that dispute should be resolved in 6 months or 1 year. So these kind of time limits also government has brought. So these time limits, etc., court has accepted. Okay, you are right to say all Waqf property should be digitally recorded. And you are right to say dispute should be adjudicated within the proper timelines. Limitation Act is okay. Okay, I also accept your Waqf by user. Government is fine in removing this Waqf by user doctrine because it is resulting in encroachment of public property or government land. Okay, and meanwhile court has given directions to both parties, to these Islamic leaders and also to the government, to don't take any action till court takes final action. Like government cannot dispossess any Waqf property based on this act till court gives final order. Okay, so constitutionality maintained on one side, like government is saying, at the same time minority rights were protected. So Supreme Court as of now took a balanced stand and final judgment is still yet to come. So this is about the Waqf Amendment Act 2025. Next thing is GST 2.0 reforms. So government has come up with something called Goods and Services Tax in 2017. From 1st July 2017, it became operational. It made through GST Act 2016. Okay, it is a Constitutional Amendment Act. And from 1st July 2017, it became a normal one. So under this GST, there are so many tax before GST, like some 20, 30 taxes. Somebody imposes 3%, somebody imposes 7%, some state puts 8.5, some state puts 9.3, some other tax, that tax, this tax. It is a very complex thing. If you want to start a company, you have to pay 50 different taxes to 50 different type of authorities. So all of these were subsumed and brought under something called GST, which will have fixed slabs like 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. That's it. Only 5 slabs. One tax, 5 slabs. All of these are GST only. Only one tax. No need to pay 10 taxes. You have to pay only one tax, which may have 5 slabs depending on the product. If you are buying something common man uses on day to day, it will have 0%. Unpacked milk, it might have 0%. No tax. Street that person who is having his own cows, he can milk the cow and sell without packing anything, no GST. If he puts in packet, it may attract 5%. If you are selling a restaurant without AC, it may be 5%. With AC, it may be 12%. You are buying a car, it is a normal car under 5 lakhs, it may have 12% or 18% GST. But you are buying a luxury car of 10 crores, 12 crores, Bugatti. So in that case, you will have 28% GST. You are buying tobacco, government will put 28% GST. So those products government wants to discourage. Government is putting high tax. Those products government wants to encourage, government is putting low taxes. So GST in a way is very successful. Before GST, only 65 lakhs in India, 65 lakh people used to pay taxes. This much country, 120 lakhs, 130 lakhs population. Right now we have 140 lakhs 140 crores population. So out of 130, 140 crores population, less than 1 crore people used to pay taxes. So rest all people not paying tax, 65 lakhs paying taxes. So after implementing GST, this almost came to more than 1.5 lakh, 1.5 crore. So more than doubled. So because government has simplified tax regime, more people started to comply. So before tax revenues is like 70 lakh crore, 70,000 crore, 80,000 crore. Okay, per month. For government used to get 70,000 crore, 80,000 crore as revenue. But now government is getting some 1.8, 1.9 lakh crore per month. So this is the revenue government is getting because of the GST reforms. Government has done reforms. People started complying, government started to earn more income. So whatever the positive steps government has taken, it has given its result. But we have came across new challenges, like Donald Trump has imposed 50% tariffs on Indian exports. And external situation is not good. Russia-Ukraine war is going, Israel-Hamas war is going on. So India is not going through very good times when you see outside. So to encourage the domestic economy again, to compensate for these limitations which are out of hand of India, government has reformed the GST, which is called 2.0 reforms. So under these reforms, government, so whatever the previous slabs, like we have 0%, 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. So now some of the slabs have been removed. I think it is 12% and 18%. Okay. So these slabs have been removed and it is changed to 40%. So see many articles on this GST reforms. And government has also operational something called GST Appellate Tribunal. I will tell you what it is. Till now it is not operational. Okay. So 12%, 28% slabs removed. Sorry, not 18%. 18% slab exists. 0%, 5%, 18%. 12% and 28% slabs removed. In place of 28%, 40% was introduced. So to further discourage the sin goods. Sin goods means like tobacco, cigarette, which government does not want people to consume. And most of the products under this 12% was sent to 5% to boost the economy. So this is the further simplification and benefiting many sectors like labor intensive textile, handicraft sector, agriculture sector, etc. Okay, health sector, consumer goods, etc. So government has simplified. It has given benefits to the common people and given an industrial push to many sectors. Okay, GST is the 101 Amendment Act. So let us come to this Operationalization of GST appellate tribunal. So now there is a tax authority, government has put a taxation system, GST Act, slabs, etc. So I am doing business, I am supposed to pay to the government some tax. So I have paid some, I have done 100 crore business. So as per the government orders, government owns slabs, I have paid 12 crore GST to the government. I have made 100 crore business throughout the year, and in this year I have paid 12 crore to the government as per its slabs. Then government said, no, some of your products are not 12%, some of your products are actually 18%. You have misunderstood under 8%. So there is a dispute. There is a dispute. I have received a notice from the tax authority, GST authority. If I agree, I will just pay. If I don't agree, I will put a representation to him. He will say, no, I am right. I am going as per the regulations. You have to pay. You have to pay some additional 6 crore. 6 crore is a huge amount. So I don't want to agree with that person. I will challenge. So this person will have a superior. So there is a appellate officer in the, some appellate commissioner. In the same department, in the same taxation department, there is appellate commissioner. So if I have the problem with the GST authority, I will appeal to the appellate commissioner. Till now, this is the structure. And if I have still, if I am not satisfied with the appellate commissioner, he is also not agreeing with my version, I have to go to the High Court. There is no one in between. After High Court, it will go to Supreme Court, if High Court permits. So these people are part of the department. They are not outsiders. Judiciary is supposed to be neutral. These are already part of taxation department, and they want to comply with the rules. They see the perspective of the officials only. They don't see the perspective of the businessman. So I don't have any appellate authority in between. I have to listen to them, or I have to go to the High Court. So the appellate authority in between these levels is missing. Who are neutral people, have the capacity, not the judges. Judges are already overburdened. If you put all GST, every dispute will go to the High Court and it will get for more burden. So I need some experts in the GST Act, but who are not, but they should not be part of the taxation system. That is the GST Appellate Tribunal. Tribunal means it is a judiciary thing. GST Appellate Tribunal. Okay, GST AT. It was in the Act itself, GST Act itself, but till now it was not operationalized. Now government has decided, okay, I will put someone between this GST authority, appellate commissioner and High Court. Between this, I will put some mechanism of GST AT, which will have principal seating at the Delhi, okay, at central level, and benches at the every state. So first I will write representation to him. If he is not satisfied, I will appeal to the person. If I am not satisfied with both the people, I will go to GST Appellate Tribunal. Most cases will be solved here because they are experts and they are neutral. They are experts, but they are not neutral. They are experts, they are neutral, but they are already busy. Sorry, they are neutral, but they are not experts in this particular GST Act. High Court deals with all the things in the society. Okay, so these are expert, these are neutral and the appropriate level. So that is the operationalization of GST Appellate Tribunal, which government is doing right now. GST started in 2017 and we are in 2025. So we have managed without this GST till 8 years. So every dispute right now either going to High Court and burdening the judiciary further. So this GST AT is a very much needed reform which is happening right now. So because we are reforming and losing some things, many products from 12% were sent to the 5%. That means government will lose revenue. Till now government is earning 12% tax, now government is earning 5% only. So there is some short-term revenue loss, but we are hoping in the long term it will demand boost, and in the long term we will reap the rewards. In the long term it will give us better revenues. But there are some federal concerns, like states very much need the taxation money. More than the union government, every state government is heavily reliant on the GST transfers, GST money. But if revenue is falling short, even in the short period, it will be very difficult for many states. So center has to find some mechanism to compensate for this temporarily. Okay, so that is with the GST reforms government has undertaken recently. So next is EVMs to have color photos of the candidates soon. So we have these EVMs. These EVMs as of now they have symbols, okay, and they may have black and white photos of the participants also, okay, electors also. But now they will have the color photos of the candidates. Sorry, not electors, election candidates. So this is the order of the election commission. This news is not important. Just any kind of such rule made by EC, under what authority it is made? It is made under the Representation of People Act 1951. So we have two Representation of People Act. One is RPA 1950, which deals with the basic things of the election, etc. And we have RPA 1951, which is very exhaustive in dealing with all the election procedures, political parties, and election disputes, etc. So under this RPA 1951, government has made something called conduct of election rules. So under this, EC has given this order. Okay, so this is what conduct of election rules. So there is a conference, national conference on parliamentary and legislative committees on the empowerment of women. There is a conference on women empowerment has been conducted, which was participated by members of parliament and members of legislative assembly members. So in this conference, leader has, our speaker has, Lok Sabha speaker has mentioned about the Women Reservation Law, which is nothing but the 106th Constitution Amendment Act. So just a brief about that. What is this Constitutional 106th Amendment Act? It has given 1/3 seats reservation to women in Lok Sabha, state legislative assemblies and legislative assembly of the NCT of Delhi. So Delhi, all state assemblies and the Lok Sabha also. There is 1/3 reservation for the women, and it also includes SC and ST women also. Okay, so whatever the reservation given to the SCs, 1/3 should be reserved for SC women. Whatever the reservation is given to the STs, 1/3 reservation should be given to the ST women. Okay, and this will be affected. This will become effective after the next census. So you all must be knowing. Next 2021. We are supposed to conduct a census, but it was not conducted. It got delayed due to COVID. And thereafter, government did not conduct it because government said, now we are trying to include caste census in it. So recently, government announced it. So it will start from 2026 and 2027. End of 2026 and start of 2027. After census is conducted, that means after calculating all the details of the population, government will do something called delimitation. Delimitation, that means it will divide people as per the constituency. This constituency will have these people. This is the shape of this constituency. Okay, it will divide all the regions in India into constituencies. This is called delimitation. It can be conducted only after census. So after 2027 census, we will have a delimitation. Then this act will be implemented. So it means in 2020, this act was passed in 2023 itself, and in 2024 we had Lok Sabha elections, but this reservation was not given because this census was not conducted and delimitation was not conducted. And many state legislative assemblies have gone for election, and Bihar is coming for election. Okay, but still we are not implementing it because first we have to conduct census and delimitation, then only we can implement this Constitution 106th Amendment Act. So once this reservation comes into effect, it will stay for 15-year period. Okay, everything will be written like even this SC/ST reservation. If you see the Constitution, it will be written for next 10 years, but it will be extended afterwards. In the similar way, this is written as a 15-year periods. It may get extended after that. So this is about the 106th Constitutional Amendment Act. Speaker is talking about. So moving ahead, last few articles. So ED has made an announcement that Enforcement Directorate. So Enforcement Directorate, it works under the Ministry of Finance, particularly Department of Revenue. Okay, so ED has made an announcement that all the cases we have completed. Of all the 53 cases we have completed, 94% we have convicted. That means high conviction rate. That means if ED is taking up a case and it is completing it, there is high chances that person accused is convicted. He is not freed by the court. That means accusations are not false. If ED accuses me and I challenge it in the court, so court will hear both sides of argument. If ED is right, I will be convicted. If I am right, I will be released by the court. So of all the 53 cases completed in the ED investigations, 50 people were accused, were convicted. That means court has given punishment to them. Okay. So ED was right. 94% conviction rate. ED is boasting. This is fine. Whatever is given, it is fine. But the problem is, ED is not talking about the thousands of cases which are pending. So if you take all the cases, the conviction rate is very less. But if you take only those cases which have completed till the end, a case may not get completed for 10 years. If 2025 I arrest a person, court proceedings may go on for the next 10 years. It is not completed, it is not counted. So overall, if you take conviction rate is pretty low for ED, but if you take the completed cases, they are having 94% conviction rate as claimed by the ED. So this is not a separate question thing, okay, just a value addition in your essay or main answers. You can use as a positive one in this, or you can use a negative one considering the overall case. It is up to you. So Israel has conducted some aerial attacks in this country of Qatar. So we all must be knowing Israel and Hamas based on the Gaza Strip is having a war. Israel is conducting intense war on Hamas leadership organization. So some of the Hamas leadership are hiding inside this country of Qatar. You see the country of Qatar. So this is Saudi Arabia. If you see here, here it will be Israel. Here it will be Israel, and this is Saudi Arabia, this is UAE, this is Qatar, and this is Bahrain. So Israel will be here. It is not possible for the Israel without passing Saudi Arabia attack inside the Qatar. So some Hamas leaders are here present. So Israel has daringly come here and attacked the building where these Hamas leaders are present inside the Qatar, or it says Hamas leaders are present here. So both Qatar and Saudi Arabia was irritated. One, because Qatar was directly attacked on its land, and without passing Saudi Arabia, if you see, Israel could not have gone to Qatar, and Israel did not take the permission of Saudi Arabia. So Israel has violated the airspace of Saudi Arabia and Qatar. So I am telling you because in next news article we will see something about the Saudi Arabia. So understand, Saudi Arabia is a bit irritated with Israel, and Saudi Arabia and Iran are always enemies. They are having always fighting because Iran is a Shia Islamic community, Saudi is a Sunni Islamic community. And Israel has enemyship with both Saudi Arabia and Iran, but these days Israel and Saudi Arabia coming a bit closer. But with the intense war being carried out by Israel, even Saudi Arabia is moving away from Israel. So the current news is Israel has attacked a place in the country of Qatar. So Qatar is in news. You can see the only neighboring country of Qatar is Saudi Arabia. It touches only Saudi Arabia and no other country. So India has condemned this violation of Qatar's sovereignty by Israel. Israel is a friendly nation for us, but so is Qatar. So India has good relations with both Qatar and Israel, but this is outright violation of sovereignty. Someone coming to your country and shooting on your buildings without taking permission because they think some terrorists are inside that building. So India has criticized this move of Israel. So that is a geography of Qatar. Next is about the Chabahar port. So India and Iran, this is the country of Iran and this is India, Gujarat. So in partnership with the country of Iran, we are building a port called Chabahar port. It is called Chabahar port. Okay. This has multiple uses. We want to build connection with Iran, and we also want to build connection with the Afghanistan. Afghanistan is a landlocked country, so it does not have direct sea access. So we are building a Chabahar port here using friendship with Iran. We are providing sea access to the Afghanistan. So you want to send some shipment to the Afghanistan, send it through the Chabahar port. So we are avoiding Pakistan. Otherwise, we cannot send shipment to Afghanistan without touching Pakistan. So by circumcising the Pakistan, we are going through the Iran to the Afghanistan. So it is one use, direct friendship with the Iran, one use. And India also made this Chabahar port as a part of something called International North-South Transshipment. Just a minute. International North-South Transport Corridor. See, this is one of the ambitious program of India with its partner. So we want to build a network from Mumbai through Chabahar and Bandar Abbas ports through Iran and through some European countries. So this is something called North-South Transport Corridor. Okay, so this is the International North-South Transport Corridor, which is a kind of counter to China's Road and Belt Initiative. Okay, so this Chabahar port here is a very much important part of this our plan of INSTC. Okay, International North-South Transport Corridor. So this Chabahar port is very important for us. We have developed it already to some extent. We are using it for transporting goods in and out of Iran and Afghanistan. And we are still investing in it. Now what has done? So US has problem mainly with three countries: Iran, Russia and China. China is a too powerful country for US to directly impose any sanctions on it. So US, whatever it speaks outside, US always makes deals with China. Because there is a Russia-Ukraine war going on, there were some sanctions imposed on Russia, and US is always anti-Iran. So US also imposed sanctions on Iran. So US has passed some act stating that anybody who is doing transactions with Iran will be punished. In its own country, it has made some act putting sanctions on countries that are having friendly relations with Iran. So we are about to develop Chabahar port. This is 6-7 years back I'm talking about. We are having high hopes on Chabahar port, and US is making this law. And US is a very good friend of us. So we have requested a special waiver for Chabahar port for India. Okay, you do whatever you want to do. Dear America, please give us a waiver. We will not do any other activities except Chabahar port. India has stopped buying oil from Iran. Because of US pressure, India has stopped buying oil from Iran. In fact, because of US pressure, India has stopped buying oil from Venezuela, country of Venezuela in South America. Now what is US is telling? US is also telling us to stop buying oil from Russia. But we said no, not anymore. We are not your puppet. So this is where we are saying stop. So that's why India is resisting the US efforts to pressure tactics of preventing India to buy oil from Russia. So that it is one thing going on. Anyway, so because US is upset with India on some other things like buying oil from Russia, now US is revoking this waiver given to Chabahar port. So some years back when relations were friendly, they have given this waiver. Now they are not giving this waiver. So that means if you are dealing with Iran through this Chabahar port, making some transactions, you will be put on some sanctions. Your bank accounts may be frozen, or US will not deal with you in some other aspects. Okay, so India will come under sanctions if India uses Chabahar port when this gets implemented. So this is another new headache after 50% tariffs imposed by Trump. Okay, so after Chabahar Port, there is another thing, PLI scheme. So this is called Production Link Incentive Scheme. So to boost, especially in the aftermath of COVID, in the COVID, we have suffered so much, and many countries who are having advantages in vaccine production and in many key elements, they have behaved selfishly during COVID. So India felt, I need to be self-sustainable in most of the aspects. Even today, many critical minerals are with China. So India has put so much emphasis on becoming self-reliance. Okay, so government came up with a scheme called PLI scheme in 2020-2021. Production linked initiative. Under the scheme is production linked initiative. That means you produce, I will give you incentive. This year you are not producing any mobile phones. So next year you make 100 crore worth of mobile phone. I will give you some 6 to 7% worth of subsidy or refund. So you sell 100 crore worth of mobile phones. I will give you back 6 crore worth of money. So even if he is selling on non-profit basis, whatever the government is giving him, it becomes the profit. He is earning 6% profit. So this is an incentive scheme. This year you sold 100, I have given you 6 crore. Next year you sell 200 crore. Incremental. This year 100, incremental. Next year you will sell this 100 anyway. What is the incremental? Incremental is another 100. So next year I will give another 100. Next, another 6 crore. If you sell same 100 next year, I will not give you any money. First year 0. So I have not given anything. Next year you made 100, I have given 6 crore. If you keep 100 next year, I will not give you anything. But if you make 200 next year, I will give you another 6 crore. So you keep on increasing, I will keep on giving you. So this is called giving incentive based on incremental basis. So this is the scheme. It was implemented in 14 sectors. 14 sectors. Okay, pharmas, automobiles, medical devices, also in white goods. Okay, white goods. This particular news is about white goods. What are white goods? White goods are large electrical appliances used in houses, like refrigerator, ACs, LED bulbs. Okay, these are electrical appliances used in houses, typically come in white color. Nowadays it is not mandatory, but in olden days they used to come in white color. That's why they are called white goods. So among these white goods, government is giving incentives for ACs, air conditioners, and LED bulbs under this PLI scheme. So this news is nothing but government is giving again another opportunity to register under this PLI schemes for these white goods, which are ACs and LEDs. So if you are making ACs, you can apply for this PLI scheme, you can sell more and you can get the benefits from the government. If you are making LEDs, you can register under the scheme, you can get the benefits from the government. That's it. That is the news. Center reopens the PLI scheme for white goods till October 14. So the deadline was finished on September 15. It was extended another 1 month. PLI scheme. So there is an article on conservation of crocodiles. So in India, you will see 3 types of crocodile species. Okay. In India, there are 3 types of crocodile species. One of the biggest one is saltwater crocodile. Okay. One is gharial. Okay. Another one is some real something. Okay. Anyway, in India, we will have 3 types of crocodile species, and the largest one is saltwater crocodile. And these saltwater crocodile, so we have magar crocodiles, gharials, and saltwater crocodiles. These are 3 types of crocodiles. And if you see, saltwater crocodiles are very large, very big. This is a saltwater crocodile. The typical scary one is a large saltwater crocodile. So it almost available in all the coastal land. So throughout Indian coastal lands, etc., you can find saltwater crocodile. So it comes with many natural benefits for the particular habitat. Like it cleans the water wherever it is from carcasses. So whatever the dead animal is present, naturally it may pollute the water. But if saltwater crocodiles present there, they will clean the water naturally. So, and they will keep the prey populations in check. So, in every habitat, even the topmost species have their own role, ecological role, and saltwater crocodiles have their own ecological role. But saltwater crocodiles are facing threats from hunting, etc., and destroying habitat. We are polluting everything. So these saltwater crocodiles which are present in this Sundarbans, okay, Sundarban biosphere in West Bengal, in this area, the number of saltwater crocodiles are declining very rapidly. So from many years back, government wanted to take action because we have this Wildlife Protection Act 1972. We have schedules giving different levels of protection to different animals, but most attention under this act is given to those animals which are appreciated by the people, like tiger, elephant, etc. Crocodiles are not very liked by the people, and nobody cares whether crocodile goes extinct or not. So there is no much debate in India when it comes to crocodile species, but still West Bengal government persisted, and it has taken some measures to conserve saltwater crocodiles in the Sundarban area, especially in this something called Bagabatpur crocodile project. So in this Bagabatpur, it has implemented a crocodile project, and the good thing is that it has given the results. Crocodile population started increasing and the ecology started getting restored. So that is the news. If you see, sliver of hope. So this project of Bengal government and this project of experts of protecting crocodiles under the Wildlife Protection Act is a big success. So that is a summary of this article. Then Prime Minister inaugurates India's first bamboo-based ethanol plants. So ethanol, you can say it is a common alcohol, whatever we say. So ethanol, what we call in alcohol in normal terms, ethanol, you can say it is a fuel because it is an inflammable material. It can be used as a fuel. It is a chemical, colorless chemical. It can be used as a fuel, and it can be blended with the petrol engines. Like in vehicles, we have cars and bikes. If we run on 100% petrol, the pollution is high. If you can blend some of that petrol with the ethanol, it will reduce the pollution. And you cannot blend the petrol with the normal ethanol where we have that much ethanol. So we have started producing something called bioethanol. What is bioethanol? Bioethanol is the ethanol made from the biomass. It may be plants, okay, it may be dried plants, etc. It may be corn, sugar cane, potatoes, sweet potatoes, anything you can make, okay. When you make ethanol from biomass, it is called bioethanol. So we started this bioethanol program. We have taken many initiatives. So here in Assam, Prime Minister has inaugurated a new bamboo-based ethanol plant. So from what they are making ethanol, they are making from bamboo. Okay, so bamboo is a biomass. This is an example of bioethanol. Till now, India has achieved 20% ethanol blending with the petrol in the vehicles. Okay, so this whole intention is to reduce the pollution and to reduce India's dependency on imports. So next one is about the Vantara Animal Complex in Gujarat. So in Gujarat, if you see, this is Gujarat, this is a particular area called Jamnagar. In the city of Jamnagar, Reliance Foundation, under the CSR Act, CSR rules, Corporate Social Responsibility, they have taken permission to carry out a wildlife conservation initiative, called Vantara. So Vantara habitat, wildlife habitat, in this Vantara, they are conserving all the existing species in India, and they are also bringing some exotic species from outside. But there are some concerns, like these people are doing this so that rich people can use that for tourism. It is one concern. And they are bringing exotic species. That means there can be invasive alien species that can come from outside. Alien species is a big worry for native population. And how did they procure all these elephants, etc.? They are bringing there, how they are procuring animals, have they got the proper permits and licenses, etc.? So there was some criticism, there was some concern about the management of Vantara. Okay, so it went to court, and court has appointed some special investigation team which said no, all our concerns are wrong, they have complied with all the rules. So they have given a clean chit to the Vantara. So what is Vantara? It is a conservative wildlife habitat by the Reliance Foundation. Okay, this is a minor news. Like if you see India-Pakistan border, this is Punjab, Haryana, etc., Jammu and Kashmir. So this Afghanistan and Pakistan and Iran, this is called Golden Crescent or Death Crescent. This is called Death Crescent or Golden Crescent because the drug smuggling in this region is very high. In this region, the drug smuggling is very high. So from Pakistan, using new kind of technology like drones, etc., drugs are being smuggled to India also. So this is an internal security threat to India. So the news says there is a sharp rise in drone-driven drug smuggling in India. Okay, sharp rise in drone-driven drug smuggling. So WHO has a list called, WHO is a specialized organ of United Nations. So WHO has a list called List of Essential Medicines. List of Essential Medicines. So what is this list of essential medicines? It is the minimum medicines that every country should ensure to its own population. It is a minimum essential medicine every country needs to ensure to its own population. So WHO maintains such a list, and based on that list, India also maintains its own list of essential medicine. So if you see the news article, there are some drugs related to weight loss and diabetes. Okay, now the WHO has included in that essential list, so they may become cheaper. So that is the news. So this is a recurring topic, pollution in Delhi. Pollution in Delhi. It is a static topic only. Just include these topics in your note making. Like every year in the winter season when the Rabi crop is coming and we have harvested the summer crop, many farmers burn the stubble in the land. So this stubble burning becoming a very big headache because it becomes a very much pollution for the down states, okay, including the NCT of Delhi. So government is taking many actions, government is taking many measures, many incentive to the farmers, etc. But they are not stopping the stubble burning. So Supreme Court just a suggestion has given, can we propose jail for those farmers who is still burning the stubble even after repeated requests, etc. But it is just a suggestion. Government has said no, it is not a right thing to do. We want to take farmers along with us. So some other strategies needs to be inquired, but not jailing the farmers. Okay. So all these structures, okay, committee of air quality management, etc., is already static part in the environment. Okay. So one thing I want to say is that EU-India partnership, European Union and India partnership is very much in news. There are multiple articles and there is not much news because they are still trying to figure out how to make a partnership. So you can have a basic notes on EU-India partnership on this. Okay, just be ready before the exam with the EU-India relations. And COP30 under UNFCCC is scheduled in Belém, Brazil. These talks will start Belém, Brazil in November, upcoming November. So every 5 years, since 2015, COP21 in Paris, every 5 years, countries need to update their intended national determined contributions, INDCs. So in this 2025, November, COP30 conducted at Belém, Brazil, all countries are expected to submit updated INDCs. Okay, so that is the news. So one last important news is that Saudi Arabia and Pakistan has made a deterrent pact, common deterrent pact. So as I was telling you, Saudi Arabia was angry with Israel a bit. Pakistan is always angry with India. So these countries came together and they made a defense pact. Defense pact, and it says attack on one country is considered attack on both, much like NATO, which says attack on one country is seen as attack on all countries. Now these two countries made a pact. One is friendly country, Saudi Arabia is very important friend to India. Saudi treats India as a friend, and Pakistan an enemy nation. Both these are making a pact. Now this will complicate things. Now what if we conduct Operation Sindoor now? Will Saudi Arabia consider it as an attack on it? This is the question. Okay, so India is not very worried as of now. They are saying, okay, we are watching it closely. And we will guard our interest. But whether the pact covers India or whether it covers nuclear deterrent, can Pakistan use its nuclear arsenal to defend Saudi Arabia or not? These are some questions being raised. So this is particularly very important from India foreign policy perspective. We have to see how it will unfold. So next news is drug problem in USA. So USA has a very big drug problem called fentanyl. There is a drug called fentanyl. It is synthetic. It is made in lab. The old drug which was many people used to do is morphine. This was the old one, it was outdated now. Now the people in US is getting addicted to something called fentanyl, and it is tens of times stronger and powerful than morphine, and it is very hard to detect. So there are some products which are brought to USA and used to make fentanyl in USA, and it is becoming a very big crisis in USA. Many youth in USA are getting addicted. There are many suicides, many drug overdose deaths in USA. So some of these precursors or raw materials used in making fentanyl are 4-piperidone, 1-4-piperidone. So these are some drug precursors. So US is already criticizing or imposing sanctions on China, Mexico, and also Canada for supplying these precursors and causing a fentanyl crisis in USA. Now recently US has also accused some Indian citizens or Indian origin people for drug trafficking the precursors or raw materials of fentanyl. That is the news. So last news article is Bagram Air Base. So Donald Trump has said, so US used to operate something called Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan. This is Afghanistan. Near to its capital Kabul, there is something called a military air base called Bagram Air Base. So this Bagram Air Base used to field the US military when US in the Afghanistan, when US used to stay in Afghanistan. But in 2000, post Donald Trump era, when Biden came in 2020, Biden has vacated this Bagram Air Base, whole Afghanistan they have vacated. We have seen Taliban taking over in a very brutal way. So US has vacated whole Afghanistan including the Bagram Air Base. Now Donald Trump says it should not have happened. We should have at least kept a Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan. So Donald Trump has made a statement, I am thinking of Bagram Air Base. So he need to make a deal with the Taliban now. So only question is, prelims based question is, where is Bagram Air Base? It is in Afghanistan. So that is it for current affairs. Thank you.